Yeah. So basically, resume part, you have to take care different sections we have. The first section is your profile summary. So you have to give your skill set summary, right? Obviously. So let's go here. So your summary part. On the top, you give your, it's up to you. A lot of people will follow different styles. I'm just giving one format, you follow. I'll send samples. Okay. You take up which sample is good, and you can put those points also, some of the points. I'll give my points and also my resume also. If you want, you can use it. But projects wise, you have to use your projects, because they will look for the projects you should be able to explain, right? That's why. Okay. And the top, you can put your name, okay? Your name, and then so one side email, another side contact, these things. Then summary, so you can give all these points. So let me open my resume and I'll show you that complete points. So points. Okay. So here it is. So you can put having around N years of experience, N years of IT experience in software testing and QA of QA practices you can put, okay? QA practices and testing the web applications. So maybe you can use this point also. You can frame it, okay? Maybe these are different people will change my wordings, the recruiters. You can use whatever. First, you have to put your experience. How much experience you have in the software testing and testing the both functional and automation testing. You can mention there. So having N years of experience in both functional and automation testing of web applications, along with effective use of QA and testing practices. Okay. And second point, you can mainly concentrate on the extensive experience with the Agile Scrum methodology, projects and products. This is the very important. Nowadays, everybody uses this process. Make sure you add this point, and also contributing to enhancing the best practice for test artifacts like test cases, test plans, defect reports, summary reports, all you can add test artifacts. So experienced in complete sound knowledge of software development life cycle, testing life cycle, and bug life cycle. So that's a next point you add. Then you can add next point, well versed in designing and implementing the QA automation scripts using Selenium WebDriver. You can cut down there, otherwise you can start next line. So having good experience in if you want to design the framework, you are good in designing the framework, you can include this point. Otherwise, please ignore this point. You don't want to design the framework, you can ignore. Or you can just tell participated in designing the framework components. Okay, that makes sense, right? So instead of designing the entire framework, you can say participated in developing the framework components. Maybe you can tell so implementing the utility methods, right, for your project. So, but what utility methods, if they ask you, try to add such kind of points. Keep in mind while going to interview, because they will ask all this. Okay, what reusable methods you added? They might ask you. So make sure you know whatever you're including in the resume, you add that So in your skill set while going for interview, make sure you have some examples, little bit examples, keep it in handy. So next you tell that I'm good, good, having good experience in working different frameworks like hybrid framework, data-driven framework, TestNG, JUnit, include all this, okay? And page object model design pattern, sorry, page object model design pattern. So that's very important, okay? Don't miss this point. So page object model design pattern for web objects. So, and then you can have having a good experience in the BDD Cucumber framework. So, and rest assured framework. That also you add. And then below you write, so this point is not, if you know microservices, add, otherwise don't write that, okay? AWS, still they are asking AWS also nowadays. Maybe you can spend some time on little bit learning a little bit on AWS. Maybe someday if I get one weekend, we'll meet and discuss this AWS concepts also. I'll give whatever I can, okay? So I'll just give brief idea on that. Even Vandana asked about Appium tool, a mobile testing tool. I'll try to give, maybe someday we'll meet and I'll try to explain very high level, okay? And then other thing, you can just tell experience using CI/CD tool Jenkins. You just mentioned here, having good experience in using CI/CD tool Jenkins. So the wordings here no, not good, but make sure you, whatever the lines I'm telling, add that, okay? So this is okay, not okay. Basically, if no, you can add, okay? So debugging and tracing the Jenkins job failures, you can add that point. So involved in monitoring and triaging involved, right? There is some typos. Sorry. So involved in monitoring and triaging Jenkins job failures. So on daily basis. Okay. So basically you are monitoring your jobs, your Jenkins jobs. So I have shown you, right, Jenkins jobs, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that Jenkins jobs, every day you have to monitor why it is failing. If it is passing, you don't need to care about that. So if it is failed, that's our job, immediately starts there. So you have to try as why this is failed. The reason you have to find out. Again, go and do manually the same flow and find out the root cause and update. So you have to basically, the failure reason you have to update immediately. That is one important point you need to look into. So proven experience with the Git branch workflows and contributing to pull requests. This is the lot of meaning is there here, right? So you're working on the version control tool. You tell that have good experience with the version control tool, Git and repository tool GitHub. Okay, so you mentioned that, and also all the Git workflows. All the Git workflows means downloading the code from repository and adding that to IDE tool in the Eclipse workspace, and then start working on that and creating the branches. So did he show creating a branches? We have seen, right? That.
Yeah, yes.
We have seen the creating branches, that branch you merge it and create a pull request That pull request, you get approvals, and after approval, you merge into main branch or master branch. So all these flows I have explained. Please go through that. That part is a very, 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 very important. Wherever you go, this is the mandatory part you are going to do that. Until unless you are not practicing, you do for the API, when you're doing for the API, try it out or something, okay, in your code itself. My code is there, right? Git code. You clone it, add some file and push it. Now you create a branch, push it and get my approvals and then do that. So that flow you can try it out. That's what the workflow means. Okay. So this is the kind of things you have to follow that. And then ability to build automation testing for the APIs, rest assured framework in the BDD format. So you can tell that. And also you can tell that experience with the Swagger documentation. So extensive work experience with the build tools like Maven and Gradle. So don't put Gradle because you don't know, right? I know, that's why I kept it. Okay, so just keep Maven. Same, Maven in the pom.xml format. Gradle is a little bit build.gradle. So some files will be there. So that's a bit different. Okay. Extensive work experience on BD framework too. That is okay. Not already we covered here.
That the Swagger documentation, we use that one. The one which URL which we used is kind of Swagger documentation. The Postman. For
Postman, right? The Postman, all the APIs are there. That's the same, you have in the any company you go, Swagger document.
That is the Swagger documentation.
Yeah. So experience with the monitoring and logging tools such as Elastic. So this one is the Elasticsearch and also Splunk. Splunk is basically, I'll show one day. So the Splunk is basically you can search particular timestamp based or last 15 minutes, last 60 minutes, the logs of that server. So because basically your application will be on one server, right? That server logs it will give you so that you can triage what is the reason why it is failing. That is the Splunk. Splunk is for log monitoring, log checking purpose. You will use this. So Splunk. That's a very commonly used logging tool in the companies nowadays. Experience organizing test case management, software tools and reporting. That's okay. But this you need to gain, but that's okay. Leave it. Yeah, these are the points good enough. Okay, in the summary section. Then your academics you can add. Then your technical expertise you can add. The primary skills you can tell: Selenium automation, API testing, BD, Cucumber framework. Secondary skills you can add: REST assured, Java, TestNG, JUnit, Jenkins, Git, Core Java, Spring. You can add one more point here. So having good experience with the programming language, Java, you can add that point also. And also SQL you can add. So having basic idea of the SQLs, okay? That also include, because sometimes they will ask, but be prepared for that, okay? If you are not confident, don't keep that.
Okay.
So whatever the points you are keeping, make sure you are confident. Otherwise, don't include them. Otherwise, unnecessarily will lose the opportunity. So cloud skills you have to tell. This is the one. AWS. I told AWS beginner because I know very basics of this. I'm trying to. I'm going to learn more on this. We'll see that. Okay. So I worked in one of the company. SQS, Kinesis, Secret Manager, AWS CLI, AWS SAML, all this I worked in one of the project. So that's why I got a basic idea of the AWS. So then all your professional experience, you keep it, okay? That's up to you. So 7 years, minimum you need a 7 years or 8 years 10 years. Based on the requirement you add. So don't hesitate to add more, nothing. Okay, same questions you will get wherever you go also. Okay, so that's the experience, your current working experience you will add in this section. Then next one is a project. So you add the project, okay? So the client and what is your role, what is the team size, what is the duration and location, all you can add this project. So, and technologies, what technologies are used to develop this project? Server, this is not required, these things, okay? But this technologies you add, maybe if it is a Java, you add so microservices, Java, Spring Boot, core Java, all those things you can add, and other stuff like no, I told you Splunk, your Selenium tools, all this, whatever the stack you're using, that entire stack you can include in the technologies and tools. Okay, so you can put a tools here and the Selenium tool, REST, Postman, everything you add. Okay, so then project description and responsibilities. You know responsibilities again. You have to start from understanding the requirements, then preparing the test cases, reviewing the test cases, then designing the automation test case also, and also developing the Selenium test cases. And first functional testing, make sure after reviewing, once you get a build, so you perform the functional testing. Once functional testing is done, at least once, mandatory. Functional testing is mandatory. So anybody having doubt on the functional testing means, functional testing is having a manual and automation both. First you have to do manual functional testing. Functional testing is generally a manual testing will come, but Selenium also you can say automation functional testing. So that you need to add, and also you can tell what kind of testing types you performed, what are the automation test cases you developed, and how you are maintaining them in the Jenkins, how they are running, what are the tools used, how you were every day, attending the meetings and responding to the different requests. All this, your roles and responsibilities you can add here. Okay, so that's it. All the projects. But if you're based on your number of years experience, at least if it is a product, you can keep one project. If it is a you are changing multiple clients or your employer, you split that. So then you have to add the projects more. Okay, that are the things you have to take care in the resume point of view. So let me send all your resumes, sample resumes. I have already sample resumes. You prepare it, okay? See, we have a bunch of automation resume. Whichever format you like, you take it and change your details. Okay. Can you all type your email IDs? I have almost. Okay. I'll get. Remember almost all of them. See, we'll get automatically. So who else? Tilaga, right? Tilaga is already. And Aravind, right? Aravind, the first one?
Yeah, first one, Ramesh.
Yeah. So anybody else missing? Pushpa. Who else? Arshini, you have already? Or no? I don't know why your name is not showing.
Harshini Chittari, sir.
Okay. So, anybody else want? Sudhir,
Sir.
why are you silent? See, I am asking. You should tell, right? The first one?
Yes, sir. First one.
Okay. So who else pending? Okay,
Sir,
good. Yeah, who is that?
Venu, sir.
Venu.
Yeah, message chat lo mail పెట్టింది sir. Mail ID.
Okay, this one Venu. Is this one or you messaged me? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So just follow them. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Anything you want me to discuss? Any interview questions? Right, interview questions are pending, right?
Yeah, Ramesh.
Okay. So interview questions wise, Java first they will ask OOPS concepts. Okay, mainly OOPS concepts. And another thing, access modifiers, static keyword, typecasting. What is typecasting? They will ask. And then they will ask difference between a break and continue. And that's the basics, okay? And OOPS concepts, all OOPS concepts they will ask. And also you have to tell which OOPS concept where you're using in the Selenium automation. That's a common question. And then difference between this and super keyword, final keyword, and then object class methods. Then you have to different exception types, and difference between throw and throws keyword. So then what is the difference between final, finalize, and finally? And then we have a difference between method overloading and method overriding. Difference between what is the purpose of constructor? And main important question is difference between abstract class and interface. Abstract class and interface is another very so important question. And then you will get a, yeah, most of these are the questions. And also programs you will get mostly on the strings and arrays. All the string programs, whatever I explained, you please practice them. I cannot give guarantee, but you can answer most of the, if you practice more programs. So go to our blog and there are interview questions and string programs. Try to practice as many as every day one program. If you write, it will help you. It will increase the logic, but run in the debug mode and or manually you execute and it will help you. So I used to do like that. That's why logics you can remember easily if you do like that. And another thing is collections is the very important topic, highly asked topics. So all the list and set difference and hash map internal, how it works. This is a development question. Even today also my friend got this question, how hash map works internal. He's a developer, Java developer. He got that question, okay, Walmart question. And so hash map and hash table differences. And then how we will read the data from properties file. Yeah, that's it. And also collections difference, collections and arrays difference. These are some of the questions they will ask. Other than that, not much. And strings, so they will ask a string and string buffer difference, string builder and string buffer difference, why string is immutable. This kind of questions they used to ask you in the Java. Any questions on this Java before moving on to the Selenium?
No, Ramesh.
Good.
Yes, Ramesh.
Yeah.
On JDBC connection, we have to know that steps like.
Yeah, just 4 steps. They will just high level ask all that question. Okay. So first you will do load the driver, right?
Yeah.
Then second step, you will give a connection. The driver will act as a bridge between the Java code and the database. Okay. Then connection will establish there. On that connection, you will create a statement. On that statement, you will execute your SQL queries. Once you execute SQL queries, you will get all the data from the database. Then how you want that, you filter it, or loop, you loop it, while loop. That's it. That's the entire code, but I use try catch finally blocks.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's
So
enough
that's
if we say this way, or we should
Yeah,
say that
more
entire
than enough.
code.
More than
Okay.
enough.
Okay.
You don't need much. Okay, so just give me 1 minute. I'll just get some water. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah. Okay, so we'll take another 5 minutes to close it. Selenium. So when it comes to Selenium, nowadays people are asking Selenium 4 features. So what are the Selenium 4 features and implementation changes? Okay, and what is the difference between Selenium 3 and Selenium 4? That's the main questions they're targeting now. And also how you will run in headless mode. Did we see in headless mode? And in the code, right? It is there already.
Yeah, Ramesh.
Yeah.
Yes, Ramesh.
So headless mode, how will run? How we will set the? How will you highlight the elements? How will you click an element that is normal click is not working? How will you perform the click action? How will you handle different exceptions? They'll ask what are the different exceptions you have seen in your Selenium. So just tell all these exceptions. No such element exception, no such window exception, no such frame exception, element interactable exception, timeout exception. Okay, so all these exceptions you list out, and still element reference exception, most important exception, this one. So you tell this, so why you will get all this and how you will solve that. And then what are the challenges you have faced in your automation, they'll ask. So I listed out some of them, you can go through that. And so next question is difference between get and navigate method, difference between find element and find elements method. Next difference is get window handle and get window handles method. and how you will handle the multiple windows, how will you handle frames, how will you handle alerts, and then how will you handle menus, how can you check the broken links code they will ask to write, and then how we will so and that's it. I think we have pretty much JavaScript, how we will take the screenshot of element, take the screenshot of entire page, I will scroll the page, I will scroll for particular element, even actions we have seen, right? How we and how we will perform the right click operation, and how we will do drag and drop, and how can you handle menus, and yeah, most important, how we'll upload the files using robot class, and how to it, you tell that also. And next, framework. When it comes to framework, they will ask what is TestNG, TestNG annotations, and what are the different annotations, TestNG XML format, and how will prioritize the test cases. When you set the dependency among test methods, how will you skip the test cases, how will you run failed test cases, how will you run test cases parallelly, how will you run test cases on cross-browser testing, and what are the different listeners you have used. Those are the things in the test engine. And there are some common questions they will ask. If I give same priority for the two test methods, what will happen? If I give two, if you don't give a priority, and how what is the order of execution, and such kind of things they will ask in the test engine. And then they will ask what is the difference between different test engine, and the difference between @before method and @before test. So @before method and @before test differences. Yeah, that's pretty much on TestNG. And when it comes to hybrid framework, and they will ask you explain your framework structure, the components, and what components are there, and all those explain that whatever we did, same you explain. There is no harm in that. You can tell in my company we are following this framework structure. So we're using which reports you are following. They will ask extent reports, and yeah, that's all about Selenium. And then we have a API testing. They will ask what are the HTTP verb methods, difference between get and post, post and put mainly they will ask. And then they will ask a status codes. Please remember all the status codes. That's a very, very important. And then difference between SOAP and REST, difference between API and web services, and what you will validate in the API testing. So what are the challenges you have faced? These are the questions they will ask in the API, and path parameters and query parameters differences. Yeah, that's it in the API testing also. And then they will ask Git commands, all the Git commands. How will resolve merge conflicts? They will ask. Then they will ask another question. Jenkins parameters. How will create the Jenkins job? How will trigger the build? How will it trigger the job? So scheduling the job. How will you schedule the job? So you have to tell in the Jenkins job parameter, we have a run periodically. Okay, so that is the one feature is there. We have seen that, right? Cron job, you will set it. The cron job pattern, if you set, and automatically it will schedule the job. So that is the one. Yeah, that's all. Pretty much we covered. Cucumber, forget Cucumber. So So what is a cucumber, BD cucumber style? And they will ask you the difference between a scenario and scenario outline, data table, how we will read, and then difference between one more cucumber options. What are the cucumber options? Yeah, that's it. They will ask how will you add the tags also. How will you run particular test case? That's how they will ask. How will you do data driven testing in BDD cucumber? So these are the things they will ask. Okay, that's it. The whole we covered again. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll